Welcome back to the channel. Today, we turn our attention to a wave of intense online speculation that has captured global attention. A sudden surge of posts and visuals linked to Ozzy Osbourne has sparked widespread discussion and emotional reactions. Across platforms, the story is moving fast, leaving many people surprised, curious, and searching for clarity. But beneath the noise, an important question remains. What is genuinely confirmed, and what may be misunderstanding amplified by the digital age? Stay with us as we carefully explore what is known, separate signal from speculation, and look at the bigger picture behind the headlines. This is a conversation worth hearing through to the end. Are you someone who's followed Ozzy Osbourne's journey over the years? If so, let your presence be felt in the comments with a simple 1. If your connection comes mainly through his timeless music and iconic sound, a 0 says it all. Take a moment to settle in and enjoy the story unfolding on your screen, and if you find value in what we share, subscribing is a small step that helps this community continue to grow and thrive together. After his passing, Ozzy's family chose to open a small window into his most private moments by sharing photos and memories from his final days. Among them was a brief recording in which he congratulated his daughter and spoke softly of his hope to one day see her in a wedding dress, a scene that resonated deeply with people around the world. Though his body appeared fragile and standing required great effort, a gentle smile still found its way onto his face, and his strained voice carried unmistakable affection. Those closest to him later shared that it was his bond with his children that sustained him during that time. In those quiet moments, he was no longer defined by fame or legend, but revealed simply as a devoted father, warm, sincere, and profoundly human. Through recollections shared by those closest to him, many began to grasp the quiet weight Ozzy carried during that period. A long-term condition gradually limited his movement, brought ongoing discomfort, and sometimes affected his emotional balance. Even so, he chose restraint over complaint, especially in the presence of his daughter. He maintained a composed presence until the closing moments, as though he wished to leave behind an image of steadiness and inner strength. Perhaps it was the bond with his family that became his deepest source of energy, offering him the resolve to move forward through those final, demanding days. The closing chapter of Ozzy's journey carried a quiet intensity, marked by increasing fragility, declining strength, and days shaped by persistent discomfort. Even so, surrender was never part of his nature. In moments when vulnerability surfaced, determination still remained. Throughout this time, his wife Sharon stood firmly beside him, offering constant presence and unwavering support. She tended to his needs, helped soften the weight of each day, and became a steady source of reassurance. Her devotion provided not only comfort, but also the emotional strength that helped him continue forward when the path felt most demanding. As Ozzy's condition grew more fragile, Sharon remained close each day, creating a space filled with care, patience, and quiet reassurance. She stood beside him through the most challenging hours, as illness and related complications slowly demanded greater attention and support. Care routines became part of daily life, focused on comfort and calm. During this time, his children, Kelly and Jack, were also present, offering closeness and strength, gently reminding him that beyond every struggle, the steady presence of family and love was never absent. The time he shared with his family became a quiet source of resilience, helping him face ongoing fatigue and physical strain. Even when his strength was limited, the presence and affection of those closest to him nurtured a steady determination to keep moving forward. Beyond the family circle, longtime companions also reflected on those final days. Close friends and former bandmates spoke with sincerity about their shared history, recalling moments of unity, creative struggle, and mutual growth. Together, these memories painted a fuller picture of a life shaped not only by achievement, but by loyalty, perseverance, and bonds that endured through every rise and fall. Those who had known Ozzy for decades spoke openly of their respect and affection for him. Despite the visible toll on his health, they remembered him as someone defined by persistence and inner strength, a person who refused to surrender to circumstance. Through the memories shared by friends and family, the public gained a more intimate understanding of his final chapter, a period shaped by physical hardship, yet equally surrounded by warmth, connection, and care. It revealed a side of Ozzy Osbourne beyond the spotlight, a figure whose legacy was built not only on music, but also on loyalty, love, and a life lived with unwavering commitment to the people who mattered most. The journey of Ozzy Osbourne unfolds as a life shaped by adversity, determination, and moments that left a lasting mark. Rising from modest beginnings in Birmingham, he navigated personal obstacles to emerge as one of the most recognizable names in music history. His path included difficult phases and complex turns, yet it was precisely this ability to endure and transform through uncertainty that defined his legacy. More than a performer, Ozzy came to represent independence, self-expression, and the strength to keep moving forward, even when the road ahead was far from easy. Ozzy Osbourne was born in Birmingham in 1948, growing up in a family marked by limited means and early hardship. His parents separated while he was still young, and his mother, Pamela, took on the responsibility of raising the family largely on her own. Life in a financially strained environment exposed him early to feelings of lack and restriction, planting a deep desire to find a different path. During his school years, academic life failed to capture his interest, yet his connection to music emerged naturally and powerfully. Even when faced with misunderstanding and social difficulty, music became a place of refuge, offering him direction, identity, and a sense of purpose that would later shape his entire journey. By the age of 15, Ozzy stepped away from formal education and began taking on various jobs simply to survive. He tried his hand at practical work, including time spent as a mechanic and periods in an industrial factory setting. Yet none of these paths truly fulfilled him, because his heart remained firmly drawn toward sound and expression. Music continued to call to him with quiet persistence, guiding his choices even when the future felt uncertain. Before long, he chose to follow that inner pull, moving through several small musical projects until fate aligned him with Black Sabbath, a meeting that would quietly set the course for everything that followed. Black Sabbath came together in 1968, when Ozzy joined forces with close companions, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. Through weighty guitar tones and thought-provoking themes, the group transformed the sound of rock and laid the groundwork for what would later be known as heavy metal. Their catalog introduced enduring tracks like Iron Man, Paranoid, and War Pigs, compositions that stood out for their intensity and emotional depth. These works carried a shadowed, uncompromising energy, reflecting a restless spirit and a quiet resistance to the world around them, feelings that resonated strongly with a generation seeking its own voice. Even as Black Sabbath reached remarkable heights, internal tensions and personal struggles led to Ozzy's departure from the band in 1979. For many observers, such a moment might have signaled a quiet ending. Instead, it became a turning point. Stepping into a solo path, Ozzy entered a phase of reinvention that revealed new creative strength. Releases like Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman introduced a renewed voice and direction, while tracks such as Crazy Train captured widespread attention. This period did more than revive his momentum, it firmly established him as a defining presence in rock history, proving that transformation can arise from even the most difficult crossroads. Driven by raw ability and an unmistakable presence, Ozzy emerged as a figure who could not be ignored on the world's rock stages. He was more than a vocalist. He embodied a sense of chaos and surprise that set him apart from his peers. One infamous onstage incident from the early 1980 seconds later evolved into a lasting cultural myth, reinforcing his image as a boundary-pushing and unpredictable performer. Yet episodes like this were never simply about provocation or spectacle. They reflected a persona that challenged expectations and blurred the line between performance, identity, and legend. These episodes revealed more than public shock. They mirrored the private battles and emotional tensions he carried beneath the surface. In many ways, they became an outlet, a means of navigating inner turmoil while bearing the constant pressure of recognition and expectation. As the 1,980 seconds and 1,990 seconds unfolded, Ozzy rose to the height of his solo success, shaping an era with his sound and presence. Yet his influence extended beyond albums and performances. He evolved into a lasting cultural figure, woven into the fabric of popular consciousness, where his identity, music, and story became impossible to separate. From his genre-defining work with Black Sabbath to the strength of his solo path, Ozzy helped reshape metal while pushing rock music into broader cultural space. He consistently adapted, explored new directions, and reintroduced himself to audiences, ensuring his relevance across generations. This ability to evolve solidified his status not just as a performer, but as a lasting icon in the minds of fans. A major shift in his public journey arrived in 2002, when he opened a new chapter by appearing alongside his family in the reality television series The Osbournes, revealing a different side of the man behind the music. This revelation caught many by surprise, as audiences were suddenly shown a side of Ozzy far removed from the stage persona they had long associated with him. Beyond the performer, viewers met a devoted father, a partner, and an occasionally clumsy, endearing individual navigating ordinary life. The Osbournes invited an entirely new group of people into his world, many of whom had little connection to rock music, yet found themselves drawn to the warmth of his family dynamic and the light-hearted, unpredictable situations that unfolded. Through this lens, Ozzy became relatable in a new way, bridging the gap between legend and everyday humanity. The striking difference between Ozzy's on-stage persona and his everyday self is what kept the world endlessly fascinated. Under the lights, he appeared as the Prince of Darkness, intense, unpredictable, and bold, pushing boundaries few others would even approach. Yet through the Osbournes, audiences discovered another dimension, a light-hearted, occasionally awkward, and unexpectedly charming man learning his way through family life as a husband and father. This duality made him feel closer, more authentic, and unmistakably human. Beyond the image of a rock legend, Ozzy revealed himself as someone capable of tenderness and vulnerability, reflecting the same imperfections and emotions shared by everyone else. Even with a past marked by public turbulence and personal battles, Ozzy Osbourne has consistently retained the admiration and affection of audiences around the globe. That devotion is rooted not only in his influential era with Black Sabbath or the impact of his solo work, but in his remarkable ability to recover, adapt, and move forward after each challenge. He never truly disappears. Every return carries a fresh layer of expression while preserving the essence that defines him. His sound and presence reach beyond eras, age groups, and preconceived judgments. This enduring connection is what allows his legacy to continue resonating deeply within the global community of rock fans. From humble beginnings in Birmingham to worldwide recognition, Ozzy's path became a striking example of what passion and resolve can achieve. He faced illness, inner battles, and personal limits, yet continued to rise beyond his own struggles and move ahead with purpose. Ozzy Osbourne was never presented as flawless, and it was precisely this raw humanity that made him impossible to replace. To those who followed him, he represented far more than music. He embodied perseverance, resistance, and the courage to stand back up after every fall. And while his journey has reached its closing pages, his presence endures burning steadily as an everlasting spark within the history of rock music. When word of Ozzy Osbourne's passing began to circulate, the sense of loss reached far beyond his devoted fans and echoed throughout the entire music community. Saying goodbye to a figure of his magnitude is never simple, particularly when his presence had shaped sound and culture for nearly half a century. Despite a life marked by repeated trials ranging from severe health challenges to deep personal struggles, his departure still arrived with a heavy emotional impact. For millions around the world, the silence he left behind carried a quiet sorrow, reminding them just how deeply his journey had become intertwined with their own memories and moments. Ozzy Osbourne passed away on the 21st of July, 2025, at the age of 76, bringing a long and extraordinary journey to a close. His departure was linked to long-term health complications that had shaped the later years of his life, challenges he faced with quiet endurance over time. This moment signaled more than the loss of an individual. It marked the fading of a defining chapter in the history of rock and metal music. A life once filled with intensity, unpredictability, and bold expression ultimately settled into calm. In his final moments, he was surrounded by those closest to him, completing a journey that began in turbulence and ended in peace, an ending few could have imagined, yet one that felt deeply meaningful.